We're diving deep into brain strokes, specifically uncovering the silent, invisible crisis of the ischemic stroke. So I want you to ask yourself, what actually happens when your brain loses oxygen? It's something we almost never think about until it happens, but understanding it, it's absolutely critical. Let's dive right into this sudden, terrifying scenario to understand the immediate physical and cellular impact.
Section 1. Arterial blockage, the root cause.
Okay, so fundamentally, an ischemic stroke is basically a sudden, total plumbing failure in your body's most critical organ. It's a life-threatening medical emergency that happens when a rogue blood clot blocks a major artery that's supplying blood directly to your brain. And the consequence is instant. Blood flow to the brain is suddenly completely cut off. The exact moment that clot forms, the supply line is severed. There's no slow fade here. It's an abrupt, immediate halt of life-sustaining oxygen. Section 2, warning signs, visible symptoms. Now, how do these internal blockages actually look from the outside? Well, the really terrifying truth is that symptoms strike without warning. Within just minutes of that oxygen supply shutting down, the brain's normal functions falter, giving us absolutely no heads up. You don't feel a lingering pain or a gradual sickness leading up to this moment. It just happens. These are the rapid, visible signals that the brain is under attack. Confusion, slurred speech, weakness on one side of the body, loss of coordination, sudden vision problems. If you see these happening, you're literally watching the brain physically struggle to operate in real time. Section 3, cellular crisis, the invisible war. There's really this dual reality to a stroke. On the outside, you have the visible panic, the slurred speech and the weakness we just talked about. But internally, a completely silent crisis is unfolding, where brain cells are literally being starved of oxygen and nutrients. And the result of that internal starvation, neurons die rapidly. In fact, up to 1.9 million neurons die every single minute a stroke goes untreated. Because they absolutely cannot survive without a constant supply of blood, they don't just go to sleep. They're eradicated at a really alarming rate. You can see how the cascade plays out in 3 steps. First, the blockage spreads the damage outward. Second, the affected brain areas simply shut down. And third, as a direct result, the patient loses control over movement, speech, memory, or vision. As that cellular death spreads step by step, the brain physically loses its grip on the vital functions it governs. Section 4, a race against time. Every second counts. The stakes literally could not be higher here. The risk is permanent injury, long-term disability, or even death. If blood flow isn't restored incredibly quickly, the temporary shutdown we just looked at turns into an irreversible tragedy. You just can't get those dead neurons back once they're gone. Which is exactly why this quote is your absolute most important takeaway today. Every second determines how much of the brain can be saved. An ischemic stroke is way more than just a blocked artery. It's the ultimate countdown where time quite literally equals brain cells. So, I want to leave you with a critical question to think about. If the clock started ticking right now, would you know how to react? Memorize those outward warning signs, because recognizing them instantly could be the absolute difference between life and death. Stay observant, keep learning, and hey, thanks for focusing in with me today.